What's going on, fellas? Y'all doing good tonight? Hang on 1 second. Still having troubles with my computer. Duckalope, if you will, just click on that link right there that's in the chat room. Bear season in the North Country. Awesome. There you go. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get this thing to work here. Add to stream. Dadgummit. There you are.
I think it's up now.
Yeah. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing great, man. All right. Who do I got all in here? Just RNG and you. Unpaved Explorer, how you doing? Yes, I am back in a hotel again. Down in Southeast Georgia. I got Chris from Duckalope Outdoors with us tonight.
How y'all doing?
Thumbs up coming in. All right, appreciate it. Appreciate that. Grant, how you doing? It was a hot day down here, buddy. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Yeah, it was hot up here too. So I'm in Maryland, up by Havre de Grace. So it's pretty humid. We had a pretty big thunderstorm roll through today too.
Yeah, I ended up. I'm working out of state. I'm in Georgia right now.
Okay.
Down in Southeast Georgia, down in Brunswick.
Got you.
And it tried to storm down. West Virginia Woodsman, how you doing? But for those of y'all who do not know Chris at Duckalope Outdoors, he has a waterfowling channel like mine up in Maryland, and I thought I'd invite him in tonight and let y'all get to know him. We don't. We ask for supporters around here. We don't do anything else other than just ask. If you get a chance, look at a few of his videos. If you like them, then you know what to do. But Chris, just go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Well, before I get started, my wife is getting a massage right now, and I'm on babysitting detail. So if they start screaming in the background, just bear with me. But yeah, like Duck Daddy said, my name is Chris. I run Duckalope Outdoors so far as the social media side of it. So far as the ideas, we're a 3-person group. So my buddy Justin and Brian, they're down in Virginia. Both of them, they're police officers. Brian is a 20-year veteran in the Army. Me, currently, I'm in the Army. I'm on recruiting duty out of Baltimore, Maryland, and only have another 4 months out here, and then I'm getting shipped off to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I mean, as for waterfowl, I've been waterfowling for probably about 4 years now. Justin is the one that got me into it, and we just started to.
Justin, is he the bigger guy?
Yeah, he's the taller guy that I'm
Okay.
normally with. So
yeah. I'm still trying to get y'all's names. Trying to figure y'all out.
That's why like I started to put like an intro video into our video, so that way people can, every time they watch it, like that intro video is always like, tagging me with my name and him with his name. So it's kind of confusing and hard to do with 3 other people. But being that I post up the most, hopefully people are starting to catch on that my name is Chris. So, and starting to get that down. But another part about me is I live in Havre de Grace, Maryland right now. On a military installation called Aberdeen Proving Ground, which is technically in Aberdeen, Maryland. But
right.
Havre de Grace is where I hunt, and it's the Susquehanna Flats. It's known for body booting and killing sea ducks and geese and that sort of thing. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, is this where you're originally from, or just a duty station for you?
No, it's just a duty station for me because I recruit out of Baltimore. So
but where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Virginia, in between Fredericksburg and Manassas.
I had some kinfolk in Fredericksburg many years ago on 2 separate occasions.
Yeah.
Once when the Yankees invaded, and the second time when the Yankees invaded. So
they sure did love that area down in through there.
Well, I want to thank you for your service and the other guys. If you don't know, or if you didn't know, I was in the Marine Corps for 6 years, and I was a cop for 20.
Gotcha.
So,
well, thank you for
brotherhood here. So,
thank you for your service as well.
Thank you so much. Let's see here. Gidget, how you doing? Gidget, aren't you Gidget, aren't you one of my mods? Hang on a second, guys. I gotta figure this thing out again.
Yeah, this is my actual first YouTube live. Yeah, this is my actual
is it?
YouTube live. Yep. Yeah, like for work, for recruiting, the recruiting aspect of it, I run Instagram and Facebook and that sort of thing, but I've never done YouTube before. So, yeah, this is interesting.
Gidget, could you do me a favor and grab a hold of Duckalope Outdoors? Oh, there you go. Thank you. Never mind. Yeah, I tell you, when you're doing these things, it is really helpful to have a moderator or moderators, because when it comes to computers, I've passed ignorance a long time ago. I'm stupid. And hey, Tom, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, so it's great to have these guys, and I appreciate every one of them. But Army vet, RIG Outdoors, Army vet.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like a lot of us end up
David, how you
some
doing?
sort of hunting.
David, just to let you know, it did not come today, that package. I'm hoping it'll come tomorrow. But listen, a couple weeks ago, I was doing a live, and you had mentioned something about body booting and V-boards.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know that there are some duck hunters that are in this chat and some that aren't. So I know what body booting is, and I know what V-boards are.
Mm-hmm.
But you're up there where it was actually, this is where it was actually invented. So could you tell the people about body booting and V-boards?
Of course. So how I found out about it personally is once I moved up here, I was doing a lot of research on YouTube, and I ran into a guy. His name is Jeff Coates, and so he was pretty
Jeff
much.
Coates.
Yep, he
Yep.
was born and raised in Habitat Grace, and so I started watching his videos because before I was stationed out in Kansas, so at Fort Riley, and I started watching his videos. So when I came over here, I kind of already knew like to go up to Habitat Grace and like look around, and I ran into the Decoy Museum, and the lady at the time, she let me go in for free, and I was by myself. And that's how I found out about the whole bodybuilding and V-board, aspect of it. And so pretty much the V-board the way it like developed was it's a 3-stake system. And so you have 3 legs, and it almost makes like a Y, but people refer to it as a V-board. So each stake that comes out, because there's 3 limbs, you put a silhouette. So it's kind of like a flat. People used to make them out of plywood. You can make them out of corrugated board, kind of like what you buy from Big Al Decoys, Dive Bomb, White Rock makes them now. And they would staple them or nail them to the side. And by using a wood that that's dense, hopefully I'm using the right terminology, it actually floats in the water. So that way you don't need a whole bunch of wooden decoys like what they were known for up here is carving and that sort of thing. It saved them a lot of money, and they could open up their spread a lot more by using V-boards, and it was a lot cheaper. So that's how the V-board thing like ended up growing. And now it's gotten to a point where, there's the big argument in between like using full bodies versus silhouettes and that sort of thing. But before we go down to that rabbit hole, the bodybuilding aspect comes into it so the other thing with V-boards is people make stakes. They refer to as a stake as it's a pole, and it's a cutout of a goose, and they would stand back behind it. And so as you're bodybuilding and you're standing in the water where the water's coming up to probably about your chest or your waist, you would stand back behind this massive goose that you cut out of plywood. And as the geese come in, you're able to pretty much hide back behind the plywood. So that way they would decoy in within gun range.
And you're at water level, so it's perfect shooting to be when they're coming in decoys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I've done it. I've actually done it one time while I was up there. I went up there many years ago when I was a kid, and that's what we did. Of course, we wore waders instead of
dry suits.
The dry suit that a lot of the guys are wearing nowadays. But and I think we were in like knee deep water, so we were actually, or maybe even been less than knee deep, but we were actually kneeling down in the water when we did it. But for the most part, it was bodybuilding and using the V boards around us. So and I wanted you to come on that last time. I think there was a conflict of I think my computer again was doing stupid stuff, and and try to explain this because there's such a rich history on the Atlantic Flyway, and especially in Harvard to Grace, and you got Chesapeake Bay, and you got Barnegat Bay in New Jersey, and you got these you got Pamplico Sound out of North Carolina, and even in this where I'm at in South Carolina, with the Santee and the coastal marshes, there's such a rich history that I think a lot of people they don't know it in today's age, and that's why I wanted you to come on and let's talk some talk ducks,
of course.
But
like Justin, for instance, so he's the one that got me into waterfowl hunting, and once I moved up here, like I started talking about it. He's been waterfowl hunting for probably 8 to 10 years, and he didn't even know anything about this sort of stuff up here. So, and we're still within the same flyway and that sort of thing. But once I explained to him like, hey man, like this is where carving decoys and bodybuilding, like he didn't know what that meant and that sort of thing. Like once it started to come up, he was like, I've never even heard of it. And then once he started looking at it, now he plans on coming up for about 2 to 3 weeks total throughout the entire season to come up here and do it with me.
Well, that'd be cool, man. Yeah, if you ever get an opening, let me know. I'd love to come up there and do it again.
Oh yeah.
There. So, how's your season starting to shape up? Our goose season, early goose season, starts September 1. Our teal season starts September 11th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really goose hunt that much. We just don't have them down here. Like, it's a hit and miss it's really a hit and miss with the geese and the teal. You know how teal are, but
Yep.
How's it starting to shape up?
So the geese around here, at first they were just hanging around the ponds, still dealing with the smaller geese that were just born this year. But here recently, so back behind my house is like a huge feeding area. So within the community, because they know that they're safe back here, so they're not going to get messed with. And the numbers have been growing. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I've been keeping count of them. 2 to 3 weeks ago, we had about 50. And yesterday, my wife counted over 250 back behind the house. So the geese are like well within the area. The numbers are looking a lot better this year than the last 2 years that I've been here. And then so far as flying around and exploring the different areas, because they'll come from pretty much where I hunt on the Susquehanna flats. They normally like hanging around like the islands and Haverty Grays. And what they'll do is they'll pick up from their roost, and they'll normally fly over here to APG and feed because they know that they're not going to get messed up with here. But the numbers are looking really good for geese, this year.
Have you been able to scout for any teal or anything?
No, I don't have any teal spots here. So far as getting permission on private land is pretty much shut down. So it's all leased out and that sort of thing, or already locked down by other hunters.
How about on the flats? You don't have any teal coming on the flats?
I have never seen a teal on the flat. So I've always seen just surf scoters, mallards, and a lot of buffleheads. There's thousands and thousands of buffleheads.
Really? No, none of the teal in the shallow marshes, huh?
I haven't seen them.
Wow. Because that's usually our hot spots down here is on our coast in the shallow when it gets high tide and they can get up in the grass and the feed. Mm-hmm. And then once the low tide comes in, they'll hit some of these muddier spots, to get in there and root around and get some clams or small shrimp and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been scouting for them, like up there in Haverty Grace, because they got a massive playground for my little one. And while he's playing and the wife is watching them, I'll walk down to the boardwalk and walk around, and it's mainly just mallards all along the shoreline. It's like I've yet to see a teal around in this area, unless if I'm just not looking in the right spot.
Yeah, and they're fast. You don't even know.
Yeah.
But okay. How many videos y'all got out? I didn't do any of that. I don't do some the other guys. They do some research. Mm-hmm. I just like to get guys on here and start talking ducks. Yeah. So, how many videos y'all got out now?
So far as hunting videos, I've had very few. There's some deer hunting. So far as waterfowl hunting, actually, there's a big old flock of geese coming by the house right now. So far as waterfowl hunting, I think I have maybe 4 or 5 hunting videos, but I was just starting to get into doing the videography of it.
Right.
But I have tons of reviews and how-tos, and just starting to actually build the channel for when the season kicks off.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I started in February of this year, and I took my camera on every hunt last year, and we were plagued with warm weather. It never got cold. I think I wore my big coat once. We had everything was flooded. I mean, so the ducks could go anywhere they wanted to go. Mm-hmm. They weren't concentrated in the swamp. They weren't concentrated on the lake. And I mean, they were just scattered, and I have no hunting videos yet, yeah. And because there was nothing there, if you saw a flock of ducks, they were flying sky high. I mean, mile high, and you couldn't, mm-hmm. There's no way you can get them on camera. Yeah. But, so hopefully this year will change. Hopefully I can get some good shots. I hope y'all do too. I've seen quite a few of your videos. I was really impressed with the V boards. That was my favorite. I really did. I kind of liked. I like that old nostalgic stuff that really, because I grew up with I'm 55 years old, so I grew up reading some of the old books, from Robert Ruick and Gene Hill and Nash Buckingham and Bob Brister and guys like that, and so I have there's a lot of romance and nostalgia that's in duck hunting for me. So I'm trying to talk to you and watch Chad at the same time. So there's a third guy. I don't recall seeing him on any of the videos.
Yeah, Brian. So Brian is on and off. So he works within a different police department than Justin. So and so far as like when we brought him on board, like we were already like halfway into like getting the things rolling and that sort of thing. So he's probably in maybe only 1 or 2 hunting videos. And then with us splitting off when we were turkey hunting, like he went off with a different guy, but we were on the same piece of property. But hopefully this year, he plans on coming up on the 1st. So Justin and Brian are going to be up here at the house, and so he's going to be in a lot more videos come this season.
Never mind. I'm trying to read chat. What? I mean, it's good to have a little group together. Most of the guys that I duck hunted with growing up, they either have quit, because it's just the ducks on the Atlantic Flyway just have gone downhill, or the only time they do duck hunt is they'll head west to Kansas and Arkansas and Oklahoma and places like that. Can't really get a lot of guys that want to do filming around here. There's just not enough. We just don't have enough. I mean, it's just honest. But I got everybody's first name popping up in chat, and I haven't been paying attention, so I don't know what's going on. But all right. How's the? Okay, I got like 3 things going on. I'm watching chat. I'm talking to you, and then I've got my iPad going on, and I'm getting messages, and my head's going to explode here in a minute. So we talked about how the season's progressing. I have not yet did any hardcore scouting yet for ducks. I've been doing a lot of checking for natural feed areas and some of the areas that I know teal are going to hit around me, that I've been checking this, throughout the spring and summer. I've been checking their the vegetation there. But when you're do you do the same thing? Do y'all? I mean, scouting is not just looking for ducks. You're looking for a lot of different things. So do y'all go throughout the year and just kind of look around and see what's going on?
Yeah, so there's, being that we're in 2 different locations, being Justin and Brian are down in Virginia and I'm up in Maryland. So far as up here, I'm kind of limited on where I can go because I hunt out of a kayak. Like that's how I get to, the flats in an area where I can actually stand, because I'm only 5'6", so I got to find a place where it's not too deep.
I'm 5'8", man. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. So
up here, I have a couple spots that probably other people know about, but they're kind of my favorite. I'll go up to it and see how the vegetation is growing for the sea ducks that are going to be coming through, because of course they like to be around that, the vegetation as well, when they're just out loafing, that sort of thing. But as for Virginia, the scouting that we do there, so we mainly hunt like the Rapidan River, we'll hunt the Rappahannock, we'll hunt the Potomac, and the areas that we typically look for is the same thing like what you look for, is like the vegetation. So we're looking for smartweed, all the different duck candy and that sort of thing, just all the things that, produce seeds in the water. And we're also looking for places that have a lot of islands as well, because a lot of the geese like to hang around the islands. So, of course, being able to have access to it is one, or being able to, paddle upstream once we're done, or downstream, or paddle up, up when we're starting to hunt. So big thing is access. So, and then so far as like the scouting actually looking for birds, it mainly just goes with floating the river. listening for them and seeing, where they're hanging out, and then trying to get them on where they have a routine, because they typically hit the same islands all the time.
Right. Now, on your sea ducks, is there a certain distance you have to be from the shoreline in order to hunt sea ducks there?
Yep. So up here on the Susquehanna Flats itself, it's known as they have a special name for it. It's like the gunning zone. So within the area of Susquehanna Flats, you have to be at least 400 yards from any surface. So the actual ground surface. So if you have a mean low tide to where the ground is actually showing, that's considered the shoreline itself. So you have to be really on top of your tides and that sort of thing, because the game warden, he'll wait for that low tide, and as soon as that ground shows and you're within 100 yards of it, he's gonna come out there and bust you. So you have to watch your tides and stay at least 400 yards from any sort of shoreline.
Yeah, now I've never shot sea ducks. Unless you consider an old squaw a sea duck. Some people do, and some people don't. I have shot an old squaw, but I actually shot that on a freshwater lake. He was lost. But
yeah.
I'm talking about the scotias and the eiders and stuff. I've never hunted them, but we do get them down here. But you have to be, I think it's and somebody's going to hear me and they're going to say, no, you're wrong. But I think it's a mile, maybe a half mile to a mile offshore.
Okay.
So, I mean, these guys, and they go out there and they set up these spreads. And I'm like, I know this thing's out there to eat you, man. I'm straight up with you. So I could be wrong on the distance, because I just don't do it. I mean, I honestly, I just don't do it. Two things in the world I'm afraid of, and that's a bear and a shark. The only things I'm afraid of.
Yeah, it's different out there, sea duck hunting with the other part of the Chesapeake Bay. You have to be 800 yards from the shoreline. So once you move out of the Susquehanna Flats and you're actually in the bay itself, it's 800 yards. But some of those spots, man, it gets so deep, running lines and rigs and that sort of thing. You really have to know what you're doing and read the tide.
Right. Now, do you hunt out of your kayak, or do you try to find a place to stand?
I try to find a place to stand, especially leaving, because I'll either put in here out of Aberdeen Proving Ground and put the kayak in there, or I'll drive up to Havre de Grace and dunk in. But of course, it's first come first serve. So I'm trying to get the place closest to the ramp, so that way I'm not having to paddle 2 or 3 miles offshore. So the closest place that I have is about a mile, so from the actual boat ramp. But I typically try to find.
That's a hard paddle, bro.
I try to find.
That's a hard paddle.
I try to find a place where I can stand, and if the tide is, a high tide, then I'll just hunt out the kayak until I'm able to stand up.
I might have been able to do it when I was your age, but now it's called a go devil. Nah, I'm good.
Oh, don't let my looks deceive you now. I'm 30 years old and I've been in for 11 years now, so I'm kind of beat up.
I feel you, man. I really, man. I tell you, when I hit 40, I actually started feeling it, and I actually didn't have to start wearing glasses till I turned 50. And now it's like, I wake up in the morning. I hurt worse when I wake up in the morning than I do before I go to bed. So,
yeah. I just recently just started wearing glasses too within the past 2 or 3 years. I was like, man, I've had perfect vision my whole life. I'm just falling apart.
Can you say what your MOS is?
I'm a 13 Fox. It's a Ford Observer. So pretty much
okay.
I talk to jets and helicopters and artillery and blow stuff up pretty much.
I was 0311, 03 walk a lot, infantry.
Okay.
I was over in Iraq when was I in Iraq or Afghanistan? Afghanistan. and the unit from Kansas, Fort Riley was there. One of their units, and we met a guy there, and we talked about duck hunting, and he ended up getting out of the Army, and then he went home to Florida. And when I left Afghanistan, I was a private contractor, so when I left Afghanistan, I gave him a call, and we ended up in Arkansas that year together. And some of his buddies that were he was in the Army with, are from Arkansas, and so we just hooked up with them, and so it is a camaraderie and a brotherhood, regardless of what branch you're in. I know we pick on each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Army, ain't ready to be a Marine yet.
Yep.
We're standing on the wall and tell a Marine to hit the beach. It's and it's a lot of fun, and but we can do that. Nobody else can.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of camaraderie and brotherhood in that, and with law enforcement and with the military. And I think it's more so than anywhere else because some of the things that we've seen and things we've done. So.
Oh yeah.
And I know you're babysitting, so if you've got to go, just say you do. And
oh no, it's fine. I was just glancing at him. He's still playing on the iPad.
Okay. All right.
But yeah,
so
being able to share that connection is something else. So
yeah.
Especially being around other vets, that's something that I plan on doing. Once I get out, I plan on. They have that thing called Fallen Outdoors. So of course I'm going to try to get in with them and just help out other service members and that sort of thing. It's always good to be able to have that camaraderie, especially once you're out. Because of all the suicide deaths and all that sort of stuff. It's just it's something to get outside and still experience the outdoors.
It is. Being that I've just started as well in this, with the YouTube and all this stuff, and it is a long-term plans for me. Once I kind of get somewhat established, is doing that either with fallen vets or wounded warriors or anything. Getting some guys together. Taking them on a few hunts. I've done, before I did all this, I used to take kids out, took mine out. I've taken other people's children that, we've gone out in the swamps and duck hunted or fished or showing them things. So, RIG, when the Army became a game warden, you're the evil man. You're evil. RIG, you're evil. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I like my game wardens. They make me laugh. But yeah, I mean, and this is a great platform to do that kind of thing. Once people get to know you and understand what you're all about. And I've been kind of putting my eyes over to the chat. A lot of people are looking at your channel right now. So don't be surprised when you go back and take a look at it. And guys, I have seen his channel. He's straight up. His buddy's a little goofy, the big one. But but he's a big old fella. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Yeah.
But he's got a good little channel, man. And we have and being on the Atlantic Flyway, I kind of want us to kind of hang out, and do these kind of things and talk to each other because, finding out where the birds are. And, we don't want I don't want a specific spot. I don't want that. I just want to know that they're on the way. Yep. What's the weather going? What's happening? Yep. And that kind of thing because it's crazy. And I got another buddy in Virginia. I kind of talked to a little bit. You possibly have seen his channel, Virginia Outdoors Unlimited.
Yep, Thomas.
Yeah, and I text him every now and then and say, hey, are you seeing anything? Are they on the way?
Yep.
Thanks, RIG. I appreciate that, man. I really do appreciate that. So and it's good to keep track of things, man. And I I've always wondered if V boards would work down here. I don't know if they would or not. But
Hey,
little tips and tactics like that, I think can become helpful to a lot of guys.
yeah. Yeah, I think bringing back the old school stuff, and it even goes with, with like my job right now with recruiting. It's like, bringing back some older tactics when you look at, just how life is right now and how advanced things have gotten with technology and all that sort of stuff. And like the way that decoys have, grown over the years. You went from, little wooden blocks that, float in the water to avian X's, and I feel like it's gotten to a point where everybody and their brother uses the same thing and does the same thing. And I feel like by throwing something completely different back in the mix that these birds, have never seen before or seen very little because not too many people do it. I feel like they would be, for one, more interested in it. And second, it gives them a different perspective on things because they're so used to seeing, how things are now. So, and by bringing it back and not reinventing the wheel and, bringing back the old school stuff, I feel like, it should be more successful for me.
I've said it 100 times. If I haven't said it 1,000 times, when ducks leave Canada, they're seeing the same 2.5 dozen decoys.
Yep.
They're hearing the same 30, 40, 50 note highball that sounds like somebody's on Main Street in Arkansas.
Yep.
And I'll go out there and, I'll put a handful of decoys out and I've run up to 3 jerk strings, and brought them all together and hooked them all together and just running jerk strings. And that's it, and a soft quack on a duck call. And, that's it. Hey, After 5 Outdoors, Cody, how you doing, buddy?
But yeah, I've even done things up here where another boat, he was coming by me because he wanted to spot where I was at, and I was already set up in my kayak and everything. And the way I was running it, like people, the whole flicker flockers or flocker flickers made by Mojo, that you never see anybody use that up here, especially for sea ducks. And it seemed like it worked more on the seagulls up here more than anything else. But I threw about 4 or 5 of those out there, and the only thing I ran was a jerk string, and I had 4 or 5 mallards on it, and with the flicker flockers around and my goose flag. So I would see them coming across the bay, and I would use the goose flag, and you could almost see them like turn and start coming to me, and I would just be working a jerk string out there, and only have just a handful of whatever I could fit in my kayak. But and I didn't limit out, but I came close to limiting out that day just by doing that. Versus other guys that were out there, they had almost 400 or 500 decoys out out around them while they were body booting.
How about your black ducks? Are you seeing many black ducks on the flats?
There are a few black ducks, but that's kind of like the little secret up here. So people, that and the red-breasted merganser or whatever, that's right. It's kind of people. Yeah, it's kind of hush hush around in the area, but they're here.
Yeah. I know. I just we used to get a lot of them. I could go into a history of the black duck and a history of the so-called Atlantic flyway mallard. Well, we would be here for about 5 hours, and before it was all said and done. After 5 Outdoors, hey everyone listening, he's working on his trailer for bear baiting in the morning. Awesome, brother. And I could, like I said, I could go in there for hours on that thing, but it was very, very common back in the mid 70s to late 70s to have flocks of black ducks that were bigger flocks than what most people would see in mallards down here. They were everywhere. Shot a mallard? Yeah, I was shooting black ducks. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah. Now we're lucky we shoot summer ducks or a wood duck, but yeah, I know quite a few guys that go up there for them. So
Yeah.
it ain't that hushed, but I know a few of them that go up there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, buffleheads are all over the place. I'll tell you right now, anybody that's watching, if you haven't killed a bufflehead yet and you like want the ultimate guarantee you're going to come up and kill one, it's on the Susquehanna Flats. They're all over the place. There's thousands.
right. Well, one of the Grant McIntosh in the chat is asking, what are your plans for the channel when you move to Fort Campbell?
All right, so my full-on vision of the channel right now is mainly just sharing knowledge, spreading what I know and trying to learn from others. Also, recording my hunts and putting them out there because, of course, it's good content to watch. But once I get to Fort Campbell, I still want to get into how that area differs from Havre de Grace. So just pretty much like being able, because I'm able to use the Army as kind of like that stepping stone of, being able to hunt different areas and actually hunt it for the full season versus, guys that, I won't name drop other people's channels, but they mainly operate out of Kansas and they'll go up to Nebraska and hunt, or they'll go out to California and just hunt. And it'd be just for like a 3-day weekend or something like that. Versus mine, I'm going to do like a full season there. And I'm going to tell you like what works, what doesn't work in this area. Like, the birds, is it worth even hunting, in the state and that sort of thing. So it's mainly just spreading the knowledge of the different areas, which I'm sure some guys are probably going to get mad about. Even though I'm not spot burning, necessarily, it's just educating and telling people, what works in the area and what doesn't.
Right. Yeah, and there's a lot of differences. There's even differences where I hunt and you hunt. And even with just mallard ducks, and everybody says, well, it's all the same. Well, it's not. There's little differences in their setups. There's a lot of similarities, but there's differences. Scouting is one. Guys out in Kansas and Arkansas and Texas, they can run the roads and scout with a pair of binoculars off the side of the road. Where I'm hunting, I can't do that. I got to actually get in the water. I got to get in a boat. I've got to do certain things that you don't do.
Yep.
So there's differences, and I got what you're saying. I'm gonna be real interested to see the videos. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Yeah, like maybe personally, like I've had some buddies that's been stationed out there at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and of course you're able to be in military if you live in Tennessee and you're stationed in Kentucky. Of course, you can hunt both states and still pay like resident license. So the buddies I've talked to, they say that the turkey hunting there is like phenomenal. They get like 3 or 4 tags a year. The deer out there, they got massive bucks. And so far as the waterfowl, they say it's decent. You just got to find the spots. And the thing is that, I want to pretty much show my journey on finding the area that works for me. And also, sharing that, this place isn't, because they say it's kind of like the dead area now. It used to be good back in the 60s, supposedly. And I feel like it's just people aren't putting in the work to actually find them, or come in with a different thing. Like I guarantee they probably never use V boards out that way. So, maybe if I throw some V boards out there, maybe it'd change the game up a little bit.
Right, and you do have a lot of historical areas that way. I can't quite remember where Fort Campbell is in relation to the state, but
it's about an hour north of Nashville.
Okay, so you've got Kentucky Lake that's over that way. You've got Reelfoot. If that's not the most iconic lake in the duck hunting world, and that's Reelfoot.
Yep.
Nash Buckingham and his shotgun boo-wop. That was legendary. So that's gonna be hard. Some hard kayaking that way, but
hey, if I can do it on the Chesapeake Bay, I can pretty much do it anywhere.
Yeah, I hear you. But I mean, so there's a lot of places over that way. I've hunted both those areas, and it can be some phenomenal hunting, and it can be just like anywhere else. You have the days,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's duck hunt. Everybody that gets on YouTube, you know, and or the people a lot of the creators, of course, like you, I'm not going to name drop, but they just put the good shots on.
Yep.
And you'll have 5 minutes of just birds falling out of the sky, which probably took them about a week and a half to get that footage.
Yep.
I mean, because you're going to have your days, and
that's another.
That way. If it's a good hunt, I'm gonna show it. If it's a bad hunt, hey, we're eating biscuits and sausage. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
And that's another thing that I've started to do as well. Like even with my deer hunting videos, if we didn't get anything, like I'm still gonna post up the video. Like it was necessarily bad content because I'm not showing you a kill or a harvest, but I'm gonna put in there like the reason why I didn't get something. Like I missed, or I wasn't set up right, or I wasn't ready, or I was sleeping, or something like that. Like, I'm gonna try to be 100% as real as possible. So,
right, and people see that. I've had some comments offline, not necessarily on my comment sections, but people that I've met here and other places that have sent me private messages and says, "Hey man, you know what? You're just keeping it real, and I appreciate it. Just keep it real,
Yep.
Don't worry about your don't worry about shifting around in a seat or
that's my worst.
And trying to be a robot.
Yep.
If you slip up and say something you shouldn't,
I did when I busted that turkey. If you go and watch my turkey video, I definitely dropped, some military language on there.
But it's what happens, and it's what happens, and
it's being real.
Yeah. Let's see here. Right strapping. I just started hunting ducks 3 years ago, but it's hard to do by yourself, especially when you're disabled. But I keep trying to get that goose before I die. Yes, right. You know what? My hat's off to you, brother. I don't know where you're at, but is anybody you can hunt with? Because that'll help you a lot. Trying to get somebody to give you some pointers. The duck I'm after, the one that I want more than anything in the world right now, is a cinnamon teal, and that's on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And that's the one duck I want before I die.
Yeah.
I can assure you of that.
Mine's the Harley Quinn.
The little blue duck, yeah. I have not shot him yet, but the cinnamon teal, the furvolous tree duck, and the black-bellied tree duck are the only three what I would consider still puddle ducks that I have not shot. And I could have taken them out last year on the tree ducks, but it was early teal season and they just weren't there. They weren't in season. But I had quite a few of them in my decoys, and I was like, I'm just sitting there going, "Oh, I can't."
Yep.
Couldn't believe it. Feel God, how you doing tonight? But I know a lot of guys are wanting to. That's their dream duck is that little blue duck, the little harlequin, and they're beautiful birds. They really are.
Yeah. I was trying to get stationed out in Alaska, so I know Alaskan Viking. He's probably popped up on your channel. He likes all the live streams and that sort of thing. He's like a TikTok sensation now. I was talking to him quite a bit, and he was telling me about the area of Fairbanks, Alaska, and we were also talking about Fort Richardson, which is south. And he said, mainly that's the place that you want to go because it doesn't freeze up as fast down in that area. But I was fighting, but my branch manager was like, nope, You're going to Fort Campbell. So I was like, all right, well, I'll make the best of that.
Yeah. I was my last duty station was 29 Palms, and that would there's nothing. It's desert. It's all desert. And I tried to figure out how I was going to duck hunt, and I went into a sporting goods store as a young Marine and was just looking around, and this guy had wall-to-wall decoys, snow goose and pintail decoys, wall-to-wall. Yeah, Tom, I'll get on that one in just a second. And I had to ask him, why do you have decoy? It's just, man, the Salton Sea is right there. And he says plenty of ducks. These guys hunt them all the time.
My goodness.
And it's right there in the high desert, so you got to make the best of it. But Tom Keltage asked if I ever hunted sandhill cranes. Yes. I was in Texas one year, duck and goose hunting, and the guide that we were with took us sandhill crane hunting, and I damn near froze to death. I did shoot my first sandhill crane, and my last, if it's going to be that cold, because I was not prepared for that. 8 years military, I've been out trying to get a group of veterans out to. You're in Washington. You're in Washington State. Am I understanding that right, Strappin? You're in Washington State, or I'm assuming. The Tuckerton Seaport Museum in New Jersey. Have you heard of that one?
Nope, I haven't.
The field guide is saying that it has a working decoy museum with classes. This place is frozen in time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. I would love to get up there and take a look. I've been to the Harvard de Grace Museum, and I've been to in Pamplico Sound, and I can't think of the name of the museum now. It's kind of gone out, but near Seattle. Okay. Yeah, right near Seattle. Man, you got some awesome duck hunting up there. I mean, wow. I think you can kill like.
Is it what, 7 or 8, something like that?
7 or 8 mallards. Yeah. Yeah. You were talking about geese earlier. Come to New York, we can't get away from them. Yeah, I'm still gonna. I'm waiting on a hunt. I'm waiting on a hunt invite for turkeys and geese. There, the field guide. Grant is saying that Grant McIntosh is saying he's an hour and a half northwest of Fort Campbell. So if y'all want to hook up,
oh yeah,
get with him.
I'm all for it.
Grant McIntosh.
I'll be out that way come March, April time frame of next year.
Okay. You got that, Grant?
But yeah, I'm always down to hunt with other people. So especially with this channel, like I've noticed with other YouTube channels, they always say, "Oh, are you going to do a subscriber hunt and that sort of thing, collabs?" If you're around the area that I'm in, and we have the same ideology, same way of thinking, like not sky busting and actually enjoying the hunt and not just going for limiting out and that sort of thing, just enjoying our time in the outdoors. I'm all for hunting with other people. So as long as we do it legally and have fun, I'm all for it. And
that's what it's about. I got a lot of guys that I hunt with. I don't have a particular crew, but between YouTube and Facebook, hey, y'all want to go? Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to put you in the bottom of the boat. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to blindfold you, but we'll go and hunt. But, You have to hook up next season, is what he said. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, hunting with. I mean, because you're always learning about something, or you're experiencing new places or new things. I mean, it's that's what it's all about, man.
Yep. Yep. And it's kind of like with the military too. Like you get to experience the different, hear people's different experiences. Hear
Right.
about different areas, that sort of thing. And I'm always up to learning something new.
I'm trying to catch up on chat here. All right, I missed something. I know I missed something. Let's see here. There you go, Rights Trapping. Always make room for you. Well, what else? So, do any of you guys have? I mean, all y'all hunt out of kayaks, or just you?
So I would say all of us do. I'm the one that hunts out of the kayak the most, being the area that I'm at. Justin, he just picked up an H12 the same time I picked up an H10, but I had another Ascend before him. And then Higgins, Brian, he mainly did his fishing out of a kayak, so he didn't do that much hunting or anything like that out of a kayak. So this is going to be something new for him.
Okay.
But yeah,
most people know what kayaks are. I guess before I got my first motorized boat, what we call a sneak boat,
mm-hmm.
and it's what we call a little creek sneak boat. It had a small trolling motor on the back of it, and pedals up front where you go left or right with the pedals. And that's what we did. And yeah, I know all about that small boat trying to get gear in, because I'm a gear hound.
Mm-hmm.
I've got everything and plus some. And so I know you got to pack just right.
Mm-hmm.
You just did a video on that. That came out today. Is that?
I think I dropped that yesterday. So yesterday around like lunchtime or so.
Yeah. I didn't get to watch hardly any videos yesterday. It was today. I was watching a lot of them, just trying to catch up with other people's stuff. But I mean, you got a good system.
Yeah.
With all your stuff.
I try to pack as little as possible. I'm complete opposite. Like I don't like taking a whole lot of gear with me. So if I could just go out there with 5 or 6 decoys and my shotgun and shells, that's all I would do.
Right.
But I mean, of course, it makes it a little bit more comfortable having a battery box with me and a speaker for music for me paddling out there or paddling back, that sort of thing. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable.
Right. All right. Any other questions, guys? Let's see, we're going on an hour here. Time flies when you're having fun, ain't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
I love talking about duck hunting. It's like I eat, sleep, and breathe it nowadays. It's like all I think about.
Yeah. This will be my 48th year duck hunting, and
that's awesome.
I'm like a kid in a candy store, man. I get excited. I don't know if other duck hunters do this. I've actually had other duck hunters I've hunted with look at me funny, but I can actually get physically sick on opening day of duck season, or just going duck hunting, especially when I know the weather's great and there's going to be some birds. Yep. I'll actually get physically sick. I get so excited.
I'm the guy that doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
I'll stay up all night and still be wide awake during the daytime while we're hunting.
Yes, after 5 outdoors, Daddy Duck has met his long lost son. Yeah, probably. Let's see here. Right strapping, Daddy Duck. Have you seen the Stealth 2000 by Beavertail? Yes, I have. A really good friend of mine has one. He loves his. Now he goes up little small creeks and small swamps with it.
You got to use a trolling motor for that, don't you? You
You
can't
don't
really
have
paddle
to.
it.
You can paddle them. I think he's got a small trolling motor for his, but he goes in a lot of beaver ponds with it.
Okay.
And Gidget is asking if I ever shot a banded one. Yes, Gidget, I have shot 14 banded ducks in my career. How about you, Chris?
No bands for me.
No bands of yet.
Nope, not yet. Hopefully that'll change this season.
The field guy goes, I get like that over squirrels. Get sick. And if anybody has not seen the Field Guide's videos, she has got some cool videos. I started binge watching them today. And she is visiting these Revolutionary War historical sites and talking a little bit about them. So if y'all are into history, like I'm a history nut, go see the Field Guide on her channel. And I'm telling, I like them. She's got a great little thing going. So y'all go and check her out.
Yeah, I have to check that out too.
Let's see here. I use it for fishing, trapping, and duck hunt. Yeah, they're very stable. Those beaver tail boats, they're very stable boats. My buddy, he loves his, and he's about 350, give or take, 6 foot forever, and about 350. And he gets in those beaver ponds and goes everywhere. So they're good boats, good little boats.
That's awesome.
What's your favorite floating duck decoy? Brand name.
Me? It sounds bad. The cheaper, the better. Because if it looks
Cheaper,
like a
better.
duck and you quack like a duck, the ducks are still going to come in.
Right.
That's just the way I look at it. Now I'm all for taking care of your stuff too. So.
Field Guide asks, is a punt gun used anywhere in the U.S. anymore? No, ma'am. They have been outlawed. For those of you who don't know what a punt gun is, you've heard of 12 gauge shotguns. You've heard of 10 gauge shotguns. You may have even heard of an 8 gauge. Well, a punt gun was anywhere from 2 to 4 gauge.
It's like a cannon.
It was a cannon, and it was literally mounted on the bow of the boat. And they used them in the market hunting days, and they would either paddle or scull. It's a technique. It's a paddling technique. And then they would scull into these rafts of ducks. And they didn't shoulder this gun. Again, it was mounted. Even though it had a stock on it, they didn't shoulder. They may have got up to it to aim it just above the head or just below the head. And they would usually use I'm not an artillery man, but the cord to wrap around the trigger, and they
like
pull on it, a lanyard, and it would go off. But it was so powerful that it would actually push the boat back about 10 or 15 feet in the water. And then there'd be just hundreds, if not thousands, of ducks be laying dead, and they would go and pick them up. So for those of you who didn't know what a punt gun was, there you go. But yeah, they have been outlawed for many years, since that got market hunting days. Let's see here. All right. Decoys for me. I have so many. I have a lot of cork decoys. I got about 3 dozen. Some that I made myself. Some that I have bought, but some that I've made myself. I only use them on very, very, very rare occasions because it's just one of those things. But I've used greenhead gear for so long, and but now have you seen the Lifetime decoys?
I have.
I know I got it. They're expensive as all get out, but my goodness, you talking about?
Yeah, they're pretty.
It in light, and I mean, they're made out of the same thing that Crocs are made out of, which hey, if you don't kill any ducks, you can wear them home.
That's right.
So, technical technician, how you doing tonight?
But yeah, I'm a big silhouette person. So like if I did floaters, it would be greenhead gear. If you wanted to get down to the brand itself, just because at the time they were the cheapest that I could find. But when it comes to silhouettes, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're the cheapest, but I'm a Big Owl guy. So their customer service is something else. They're I wouldn't say that they're a small business, but they're a lot smaller than your other type silhouette companies out there.
Right.
And they're made in the USA. So.
We just don't use. I don't know any. The only floating decoy I know that's made in the USA is G&H. But let's see here. It's not that often. So, but I'm not saying that ducks won't decoy to silhouettes, but because I know they will. But I hunt in a swamp, so I'm in a foot, 2 foot of water, at minimum. So.
Yeah, it's just different, different situations. So like even if you wanted to try to set up a jerk string, like there ain't no way that you can do that on a, with a V board, because then you're just going to fold up the arms and it's going to sink on you. And then obviously sticking a silhouette down in the water, it's probably not going to do you any good in the swamp.
Have you tried the decoy mats?
I haven't. I've thought about making one and doing like a how-to on how to make one, because it seems super, super easy with just some PVC and some chicken wire. But so far as like being able to use it, for me personally, like being able to cart that out on a kayak, it would be almost impossible for me, just because it's so bulky.
Right. We now I hunt inland lakes. I very seldom go out to the coast. When I do, I'm usually with a bunch or with other guys that are set up for the coast. I'm not set up to hunt the coast. My boat I can put anywhere, but as far as decoys and rigging, I'm not set up for the coast. And they've been using the decoy mats here lately, and they are having a ton of success. And I've been thinking about getting one. They make the company that makes them out of North Carolina. They make a big one and a small one, and I was thinking about getting a smaller one and using them on the rivers.
Yeah.
And that way I don't have to worry about decoys getting tangled. They'll be all on one mat, and using them on the rivers. I think that would that'd be a game changer.
Yep.
Because people aren't doing it, because the water's too fast.
Yep. And that current would keep the the actual raft working the way it's supposed to.
And the decoys going back and forth.
Yep.
Tangle free, huh? I missed you. Did you have a question, Cody? You said tangle free.
You maybe talk about the silhouettes, maybe.
Oh. Let's see here. Technical technician. I'm doing good, man. As you can tell, I'm in a hotel again. No, my wife did not kick me out, although she probably would want to. She didn't. I'm down in Southeast Georgia working. Has anybody seen Technical Technician's site, his channel. If you haven't, go over and take a look at it. Major Mayhem. He has got a few, quite a few videos, and there are some that I'm not going to get into on here, but there are some in there that are awesome. I've actually shared them out on my personal Facebook, so get a chance, go see Technical Technician. Tangle Free Decoys. Tangle Free, the brand name Tangle Free. I got you now. Yeah, I've actually got some Tangle Free decoys. I got a mosh podge of decoys, man, wherever I can find the best deals. But I've got a bunch of teal, blue wing and green wing teal from Tangle Free. Where would I find those matte decoys? Are you talking about the?
He's talking about your raft.
Are you talking about the decoy mat? The rafts? Decoy rafts? I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Look it up real quick.
Yeah, I can't remember the blonde or the brand.
Right. Southern Flyways Outfitters. Southern Flyway Outfitters, the decoy raft. I hope you got that. Southern Flyway Outfitters. They have what's known as a decoy raft. Coot decoys, yes, I do use coot decoys, especially in the teal season. And watch my video, because then you can find out why. I got one. You got anything coming out soon this week?
The next video I plan on doing is with the gun. The guns. Come on, now you're gonna caught me off guard. The gun sleeve where it floats, the floating gun case.
Floating gun case.
Yep. I plan on putting my shotgun in it and actually throwing it into the water and showing what it does. So.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, obviously, it's called a floating gun case, so you could assume that it floats. Right. But to see if the water gets in it, how bad your gun's gonna get messed up, that sort of thing. So, because I plan on taking apart my gun and completely stripping it down and cleaning it and everything. So,
right.
I might as well go ahead and knock that out while I'm at it.
I always wanted to do one in a pair of neoprene waders and jump in, but trust more. So, I'm not going to jump into water with a pair of waders on, and my friends just look at me and laugh. So I'm not going to do that. Let's see here. Southern Flyway Outfitter. Thank you, Miss Gidget. You're awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. See, I got one coming out Wednesday is my next one. And it's all based around the teal season right now. So everything for the next couple of weeks will be based around teal season.
Which would be good, because that's mainly what people are searching for nowadays anyway, being that the season's getting so close.
Yep. Technical Technician says, let's pray it floats. Talking about the gun case.
If it doesn't, it's pretty shallow out there, so I can just walk up there and get it. It'd be too easy.
I tell you what, I don't know why I've never done this, but I've seen these other channels. They'll be fishing with a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get one to put it in the boat.
Yeah.
because I know where their boats are sunk and motors and guns. I know that they're there, and do some magnet fishing when I'm duck hunting in that swamp.
Yep.
Probably come up with all kind of stuff.
May find something that you don't want to find though.
That's a possibility.
Yep.
That's a definite possibility. You were doing what, and you found who? Yeah. What's that old boy's name from up north that got whacked and nobody can find him? One of the mobsters.
I
can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name.
Do you do any marsh hen hunting up there? Like for rails or anything like purple gallinus or anything like that?
No. If I do any other sort of like bird hunting around here, it's mainly just a dove.
Doves.
Mm-hmm.
Hoffa, that's it. Jimmy Hoffa. Thanks, Cody. Yeah, we get to about the middle of the teal season. We can start shooting what they call marsh hens and rails. So your Virginia rails and your common rails and your common moor hens or purple gallinus. We can hunt those about middle of the season. So if we don't shoot any teal, we can always go after those while we're doing that. Sometimes it can be kind of sporty because you got to pull around. So you got a guy in the back of the boat pulling you around while you're sitting up front drinking sweet tea, and then when they jump up, you shoot them.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Kind of like quail hunting, but out of a boat.
Yeah.
Tagging Tails, how you doing, buddy? Y'all don't have a dove season up in New York? That's weird.
They're all over the place this year, around Maryland at least.
Oh, I've seen more doves this year. Local, what we have right now is local birds, but I have seen them. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Just within Baltimore City, normally I see a bunch of, quails or not quails, but pigeons and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's been switched everywhere. There's tons of doves, even around, around where I work, which is crazy to me, being in the middle of the city.
Yeah. Let's see here. Wow, I didn't know there was so many different types of ducks. We just call ours food. Yeah, and not to sound funny or anything, technical technician, but I didn't know there was so many types of guns. I just said guns. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's 41 species of ducks in North America, the United States. And it's kind of a thing for somebody to try to get all 41 of them in 1 year. It's a lot of guys are not trying to do that. Let's see here. Doves were over 100 in the 70s. Now they're a nuisance. That's in New York, from what the field guide is saying.
That's interesting.
Yeah, really. Hey, Casey, how you doing, buddy? Casey Carson in the house. Yeah, but we get to shoot the rails now, which is pretty cool. We love my wife, and if my kids ever find out I shoot marsh hens, they're going to be at the house wanting me to cook them. They love them. So, if you ever get a chance, you need to really try it. I mean, it's slow hunting because you have to push pole around and try to flush them up. But when you do, and they're sporty, they really are, and they eat really good. Casey, we're doing real good, man. Down in Southeast Georgia working. So I got a movie, The Big Year, but instead of bird watching is duck hunting. That's right. Yeah, Casey, I'm down in Georgia, Southeast Georgia, down in Brunswick, working for a week. I'll be back home Sunday. I got a couple of days next week. I'm gonna take off and start doing some scouting, heavy scouting. Gotta get ready.
Oh yeah, it's definitely that time of year.
The only thing I got left is I got to put the blind on the boat. That's all I got to do. That's it. Everything else is packed.
Yeah, I need to get on top of it. I'll probably work on that this weekend. Okay. Well, it looks like things are gonna start getting fired up for me here now. He's tired of the iPad.
All right. Well, if you got to run, man, I understand.
Yeah, I mean it was good being on with you tonight, and hopefully we could do this again soon.
Sure, anytime. I can if the other guys, if they want to get on the computer and do the same thing where if everybody's not working, I'd love to have all of you on.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Justin, the tall one, he's goofy. He's funny. That boy can get you laughing. So
I think he can. I got this feeling. I got this just by watching the videos. I think he gets to be real funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's very knowledgeable of waterfowl too. So he'll bring a different aspect for you.
Awesome. Well, listen, Chris, you have a good evening. I think you got a youngin' that needing your attention.
Oh yeah, it's that time. Well,
I hear you.
I appreciate it, and y'all have a good night.
All right, take care, brother.
All right, you too.
All right. Anybody else want to come on for a little bit while we're up here? Let's see here. Nope. Anybody else? All you gotta do is say yes. Anyway, yeah, I met Chris. Oh, I didn't meet him. Actually ran into his channel, and then he came on to one of our live streams a while back, and I've been trying to get him on. Just sit out here and chat ducks. You know me. That's all I want. That's all we do. Just talk ducks. I hope y'all enjoyed that. It was kind of different. I didn't really get a chance to keep up with the chat as much as I wanted to, but I just kind of want to talk with him and let y'all listen to him. Tag and Tails, you take care of yourself. Thanks, technical technician. I appreciate that, man. Gidget can't get up. She's got her jammies. Yeah, just stay over there. What do I do for a job? Let's see, how do I put this? I look for people. Kind of the insurance business. I go looking for people. Yeah, I think you figured it out. Any questions? Anybody got anything? We've been going on for about a little over an hour. I know a lot of this Monday night and hunting geese. Yeah, I can try. I just don't see enough to hunt around here. I know some guys that do hunt them, but let me see what we can do. I'll have to look into it a little bit. Oh, that's no worries. Casey, yeah, that's kind of interesting. There's another set of waders that I'm looking at called High and Dry. Have you seen those? They run about the same price. Um, um, it's about the same price as the ones you sent me, but these are Kevlar coated. Now, the only problem that I'm seeing with them right now is they're not insulated. So you need to layer up inside, but they're a breathable wader, Kevlar coated, made by Oysterman, um, uh, on the out here on the up in Chesapeake Bay, I think. I got a hold of the can you recommend? Yeah, you can fix them. I'm actually thinking about doing a high and dry gadget. I'm fixing to do a video. I think I've seen some other people try to. I say try, but um, do some videos on fixing waders. I think I'm gonna try to do that. I think they're on the thighs, shins, thigh, knees, and shins, along with the backside. Uh, do I like neoprene or vinyl? I'm assuming you're talking about the breathable wader. I like the breathable wader. They don't. Sometimes breathable. They can rip a whole lot quicker than neoprene. At times, they can be more difficult to patch up. But if you can get yourself a good pair, like Frog Togs, High and Dry, they make really good breathable waders. Um, they're so much easier to move around in. And After Five says he needs super insulated. But as far as patching holes, if you got neoprene waders, you can use. I think it's called T50. Casey, is that right? Is it called T50? And it's a glue. It's like a glue, and you can just patch your holes with that. But I have a way of checking my waders every year. I check my waders for leaks. Can you wear hunting clothes in the stores? Yes, we can. Um, and when I'm duck hunting, I use face paint, and I will paint up and wear hunting clothes into the store. There is some SG20. That's it, Casey. Thank you. SG20. That's the best stuff to get. Aqua Seal is one. If you can't find SG20, then Aqua Seal. The problem with Aqua Seal is it will dry out on you and crack after a while. SG20 is a little more flexible, and it costs a little bit more, but it's worth it. But yeah, we can wear our hunting clothes. This is the South. Everybody wears hunting clothes 24/7. Mine's always been in the crotch area. That's if I'm gonna rip a pair out, it's gonna be in the crotch. Always. Unless I jab it into a stop or stump or something. McNeil wetsuit repair. Casey, you know what? I've never heard of them. I'm gonna have to check them out. NT Outdoors. Use tear mender. Huh? I've never heard of that one either. Y'all excuse me. I've been up for quite a while today. Oh, really? It just comes in a can? Can you work it with breathable waders in the seams? I wonder. Will it work? I didn't either, technical technician. I guess some states they get all bent out of shape. I know mine doesn't. Yeah, I bought a pair of yeah, Gidget. I don't think Flex Seal is going to work on waders. I don't care what that fella says. Um, I bought a pair of Rogers, the 3-in-1 waders, breathables, and I love them. And the second season, now if y'all have seen my videos that I do inside the house in my office, I have my waders hanging up behind me, and that's where they go after every hunt. After they dry it out, they get hung up, and I know good and well that I did not rip them out on anything. And when I put them on last year, they leaked, and it was all in the seams. That's if I'm going to have problems with breathables, that's where it's going to be, is in the seams. Now, another thing you have to worry about with breathables is it won't let water in, but lets perspiration out, and you'll feel like you're wet on the inside when actually it's just sweat trying to get out. The Nazis in New York. The field guide. I actually had a good friend of mine who was in the military, stationed in New York, and he was coming home from training, and he forgot that he had a couple of 30-round magazines, just the magazines, in his kit. And he got stopped by the police. They asked to search his car. He said yes. And they found a couple of empty 30-round magazines, and they actually arrested him. You busting them scenes doing them fancy dance moves while hunting. I'm too fat to dance anymore, Casey. But yeah, that was a true, good. Like I said, he was a friend of mine. He was in the military. He was in the Army. And got arrested for having two 30-round magazines in his kit. And he's in the Army in uniform. And by the way, yeah, he was in uniform. And that was up in New York. Just a good war hoot when we bust them good. But ain't that the truth there, NT? It used to be the law in North Carolina, strap your deer outside your car in transport. Now we have to hide everything from the PETA. People eating tasty animals. I love it. September 1st can't come soon enough. Is that your early goose season on September 1st? See, our early goose season starts September 1st. The dove season is right behind it. And then our teal season starts on the 11th. Hey, Grant, speaking of the surveys, have you seen the new survey? I was looking for it earlier today and I couldn't find it. Early goose teal comes in on the 5th, dove season on the 1st. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's where he was stationed. And he was supposed to deploy, and he had to take care of court. They didn't know what they were going to do with him. Oh, the Waterfowl Survey. Usually it comes out, the report. The report comes out in August now. From them doing the surveys from last year, the final report comes out in August, and I have not seen it. I heard that it was out. Talked to some people that said it was out, but I can't find a copy of it. Usually U.S. Fish and Game, but only ones I saw was the 2019. I didn't see the 2020. And they may be using, and because of this China virus thing that's going around, they may be using the 2019 numbers for this year. I don't know. Oh. Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it quits tonight. I've been going strong since about 4:30 this morning, and I got to get up early and go to work in the morning. I do want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming out tonight. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button for me on here. Gidget, you're saying just went and looked. It says the 2020 survey was canceled. There you go. Hit that like button for me. Also, on these, on Duckalope and Technical Technician and the Field Guide, if you haven't already, go and take a look at their channels. I recommend them. And thanks. Thank you. Yes, I hit 200 yesterday, so I'm excited. That was my short-term goal. I wanted to hit 200 before the hunting season, and I did it. I'm awesome. I'm happy about that. So go and check these other guys out there. Check out their channels and send them some love if you can. But I got a video coming out on Wednesday morning, and may throw in another one at the end of the week. Y'all might find kind of funny in the beginning. And by the way, after 5, if I tried to put that video on Dropbox, it was just way too big. So you just got to wait till I throw it out there. But anyway, I want to thank everybody again. Thank everybody for coming out. And we will see y'all next time. Y'all take care. Have a good night.